All right, let's begin. You should be looking at this presentation right here, and I'm just clicking on the presentation itself. I'm not even going into present mode. To start, you're going to make your own copy of the project manager by clicking on the link right there. Just click on the link, and since it's a Google Doc, the link will actually appear down underneath it, and you'll click on that in order to open that document. When you do, you're going to see a screen like this. This just means that that link is forcing you to make a copy. You're about to be changing and modifying this project manager, so I don't want you messing up my original. You're going to make a copy by clicking on that button, and then everything that you do from then on will be to that copy that you have made. Your copy will open up on this help sheet page right here, and this has just got a little bit of information about it. It's got links to those 3 presentations, the 2 for you to help set it up and the 1 for your students to follow along with it. So those links are always there if you need them, and it's got my email address right there in case you need to contact me for help about this. I would like you to take a moment and note that you are now the owner of this, and your Google account is listed up here. Right now I'm logged into my personal Gmail account. If you need this project manager to be part of your school account, make sure you were logged into your school account before you made that copy. Go back and do that now. So I'm doing this one from my personal account. Notice also that this copy of the project manager that you just made for yourself only belongs to you. The share button right now shows that it's locked. We're not going to share it until you're finished setting it up. The next thing you should do is name your copy of the project manager itself. Right now it's called Copy of Learner Power Project Manager, and you can call it whatever you want. So maybe your teacher name, project manager. And that's all you got to do. Oh, I left out the ER, teacher. So just make sure that that saves, and it saves automatically. The first thing that I'm going to need you to do is take the first name, last name, class name sheet. Click on this sheet, first name, last name, class name, and we're going to duplicate it. To duplicate it, just click on this little triangle right next to it, and one of your options there is duplicate. We're going to make a copy of that sheet. Think of that sheet as the template and that I made, and now you're going to turn it into a template for your own class. This is now going to be called copy of first name, last name, class name, and I want you to take out the copy of and put your name on there, the name of your class. So start by saying first name, last name. I'll explain that in just a minute, and then class name. So let's say you're doing pre-cal semester 1. So each course that you teach is going to get one of these sheets. Your students are then going to make copies of these sheets for them to fill in as they go through your course. Before they make a copy, you should name this new sheet first name, last name, and then whatever kind of course name you give. There's a couple of quick rules. There can't be any spaces in this name. Make sure there's no space at the beginning before the F in first. Make sure there's no space at the end after the 1 in whatever code you put. There can be no spaces in between words, but capital letters are fine. So this is the name of the sheet that your students are going to make duplicates of for them to put in their own progress as they go through the course. Once you've named that new sheet, you can just hit return, and that makes that name official. Let me just give you a quick overview of what this is going to look like. So let's say this is a unit, and you filled out all the steps that the students should take as they go through that unit. The students are going to check these boxes as they're going through the steps. The boxes are going to turn green as they go, and this counter up here is going to record the number of steps that they have done so far. So that's what that means. If the validation error message comes up, that just means they have to either check the box or not check the box. That's the equivalent of typing yes or no, is those boxes. Another couple of quick points about Google Docs. Number 1 is that it saves constantly about every second or 2. So anytime you make a check down here, if you look up here, it goes saving to all changes saved. There's also almost unlimited undos in Google Docs. Over here, you've got an undo. I can just click on that as many times as I want to, and each time it goes back into history, one step. You can see that these check marks are disappearing. There's also a keyboard shortcut. In my case, it's Command Z. On a PC, I think it's Control Z. I can just do my keyboard shortcut now, undo, 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 to go back in time. I also want to point out that if you really want to go back in time, you can just click on where it says All Changes Saved in Drive, and it brings you into history mode, and you could go back, and if you've made dozens of changes or thousands of changes over years to the same document, all those changes will be listed here in history, and you can go back to any moment in time in this document, and if you want to, you can restore that version of it. In this case, I don't want to do that, so I'm just going to go back to where I was, and that gets out of history without changing anything. And I'm going to uncheck these boxes, which is going to reset that counter back to 0. That's the first step of setting up your project manager. Now you can just go on to the next slide in the presentation to learn what to do next.